Now, to Blake, when I turned this way, he would have thought to himself, he would have literally said to himself, Blake, make a move now. He would have said, oh, now, and he went for it. Because when I turned back, they were kissing, snogging, kissing. My heart stopped. I felt instantly depressed. I was like, what the fuck? And then in his mind, he would have been thinking, oh, you can stay as much as you like, you can hang around as much as you like. Now, I don't care anymore. I've got it. I don't care anymore. I've made my move. I think she was sitting in his lap at one point, and I was devastated. Everyone around me suddenly became invisible. I think that one of my other mates was there from the gig scene. I may have said, oh, I was about to make my move on her. He said, oh, I think that's too late. I think that's too late. An hour went by, they had left. We were no longer friends that night. They left. I eventually walked out of there quite sombre, really sombre, and I walked down Enmore Road. Fiona and Blake were, there used to be a just as you walk down Enmore Road, there used to be a 7-Eleven servo and you get things from there. It's no longer there, they took that away. They were walking back up Enmore Road, I was walking down, they saw me, Fiona saw me, they stood still, and Fiona buried herself in Blake's shoulder so as to hide from me, and she shuffled them to the side, and I'm like, oh, hit me where it hurts. And they both hid away from me, totally, like, in full view, on purpose, trying to hide. And I think I walked down slowly, and they were literally hiding from, like in open view, hiding from me. And I remember I got home, and I actually messaged her on Facebook with something. I don't remember what it was, I don't remember what I said, something brief. She read it, but never responded, and rarely saw her again. There's a possibility that when I got back to Wicks Avenue, I confessed my love for her, and that she probably found that maybe very unnerving, and because she'd been flirting with me for some time. I didn't know that she knew Blake, really. I didn't, like, I think, I knew that maybe that they knew each other. I thought he's too quiet, he doesn't have any chance with her. And at the time, and I lent on that for a while. I was on that for a while after that night. How long? Oh, I don't know, I was sad for a month, maybe a few weeks, and then I woke up one morning and thought, gotta move on. But I was sad for a while, like a few weeks I was sad, maybe a couple of weeks I was sad. I didn't see them on the gig scene again. I saw him in about 2014. I remember I was outside the Sly Fox. I went to him, I said, hey man, haven't seen you for a while. He went, I know. It was really weird the way he said it. He went, I know. And I'm like, ah. And he said, heavy metal Pat, right? And I'm like, I had no idea. He just, I said, heavy metal. He said, oh, I referred to you as heavy metal Pat. You're on the metal scene, so it's just easy for me. I prefer you as heavy metal Pat. On that night at the Townie, if I hadn't, the universe made me look that way, because the universe was like, no, you're not going this path. And, as it turns out, I did find that Fiona moved to Ireland in 2015. her and Blake were together for approximately 3 years. I'm not certain, it may have been longer. And he did not want to leave Sydney. He did not want to live in Ireland. And she said, well, I am. And they parted ways. And she met another guy who said, yep, I'll move to Ireland. And they got married. They moved to Ireland and got married. So, geez, I mean, if I hadn't have looked that way, if I had looked that way and just said, Fiona, I like you. I'm a bit haunted about the fact that could have went that way, and grateful that I didn't. Really grateful. And over the last 10 years, have I thought about it much? I've thought about it twice. Twice. Don't think about Fiona that often. I used to talk with her a lot. Good woman. Respectable woman. Good woman. Good woman. Intelligent and sincere. Good woman. My life would be totally different. I wouldn't have all my short film ideas. I wouldn't have any of those ideas. I might have had one or two ideas. My screenplay would be really different, and one probably would have one book of poetry. I would have had one book of poetry. And, I would have been forced back into the workforce. I definitely would have been forced, and I am not good in the mainstream workforce. I'm not good in the workforce, period. I just have chronic fatigue syndrome, self-diagnosed. I am allergic to the workforce, and just that when you do meet someone when you meet some women are not sympathetic about New Start, if you're on New Start, unless they're on it themselves, unless they have medical conditions themselves, unless they're exhausted by things themselves. And generally they will say, when are you going to get a job? You got a month to get a job, or 6 weeks will go by. Why haven't you got a job? Oh my goodness. The universe steered me away from that. And I never saw, the thing is, I never saw them out in the town together. They must have become homebodies, because we became friends again. It took a while. In 2016 we became friends again, because I kept seeing him in Marrickville. I would see him and I approached him and we talked it up briefly. And I must have asked him, and he said, we didn't go out much, we just stayed at home a lot. I would have been a stepfather figure. At the time, I didn't know that Fiona had a daughter. I didn't know that. So Blake would have been a stepdad. And those dynamics, I mean. So yesterday, the other day when I was thinking about this, I was a bit in shock and haunted by the fact that I almost went down that road, but the universe did not let me do that. And very happy, extraordinarily happy that I didn't. Extraordinarily happy that I didn't. And wow, yeah, I'm exhausted by the whole thing, because I did think about this intensely the other day. I was thinking, I think back to the past so that I can get the truth about it, so I can just clear it up for myself, so that I can get the truth. And I was like, what significant event, and my brain stumbled upon that. My brain chose that, and I was like, that, yes. I was thinking back to the women that I have known, and also met a lot of women in my 20s and in my 30s. If any one of those have just said yes, I was very drunk a lot. I drank heavily in my 30s. I drank heavily. But if there's a few situations which could have taken place. A few, quite a few, and if any of those women have said yes, life would be very different. And during a particular time period, we're talking before 2010, or geez, even in the 90s, my first book of poetry was all based off me feeling lonely in my 20s when I was single. I felt lonely, I felt frustrated, and so I wrote poetry. And that poetry would not exist if I had made my move, which I very easily could have. And, my screenplay wouldn't exist. Because I started my screenplay in 2008, Marylands, David's Place. My screenplay would not exist. I'm very happy with the person that I am today because I'm discovering things, finding out things, dissecting things, getting to the truth of things for myself. And if I had went with those women in my 20s and 30s, things would just be totally different. Totally different. I definitely wouldn't have had the screenplay. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't have had the screenplay. If I had the girlfriend in my 20s, in my early 20s, if I hadn't had the girlfriend in my early 20s, if I had had the girlfriend in my early 20s, no poetry. I wouldn't have. This isn't true. Actually, it's not true because I always felt the need to write poetry. Just being single and frustrated propelled that. But I always liked writing, especially when I hit the year 2000, I started writing a lot. So maybe that still would have occurred, but it would have been only one book. This would have been one book, 100 poems. I have 100 poems in each book. But very, very the person who I am today. It's a bit haunting, the whole thing's a bit haunting and a bit heavy. And I just thought I'd put this down. It came out slightly differently on film than it did in my head, but very much all the same thoughts, really, really, and the way that I thought about them. I'm a bit exhausted after this. And then Michelle.